One's up in New Jersey and one's sick, I guess. So Chuck is our stand-in, but we'd like to lead you through the next session, which is our dealer success story panel. And this is really, what makes this session really work is if we have a nice dialogue between the dealers that come up here and tell their story, as well as yourselves. So why don't we go ahead and call them up. What's the next? I don't have the clicker anymore. Who's there? You can grab that. So we have Steve Valenta, who is the president and owner of Opix, all the way from Virginia, right? Next.
Welcome, Steve.
Click. Do the virtual click. No, we want to actually do all the introductions first. Switch to, okay. I think you're going to have to fast forward. John Ekstrom from Carolina Business Equipment. One more. And Scott Miller, president and owner of So the way that process works is they each have a couple of slides just to share with you their story about what is they're going to talk about, and then we will open it up for Q&A. We have a microphone that we'll let you guys pass around. Everybody comfy? Okay. All right, great. Steve, please.
Hello, everyone. I have a one-page PowerPoint presentation, so it's going to be very short.
Yeah, if you follow us directions, right?
Hi, I'm Steve Valenta from Opix in Northern Virginia. I think I've been a Sharp dealer for 6 years now. We were slow to get going with Sharp. We finally picked up real strong here the last couple of years. Basically with the AIP program, we're also a Canon dealer, Continental dealer, a Sharp dealer. And we've had some clients, financial clients, construction clients, that were big with Canon devices. One of them had 48 machines with e-copies attached to every one of them and a fax cord attached to every one of them. We went in there to do a study on replacing all the equipment. Next thing you know, they're like, we don't want to buy 80 more e-copies at $5,000 a piece. We don't need 48 phone lines for our devices. So we came back in there with the Sharp products. We came back in with Drive. We used the MyMail, MyFolder as well. They're now currently hooked up with eGoldfax. Also, using Drive, we were able to get them with Drive to be connected to MyFolders. What was happening with eCopy, when you go into SharePoint, you get to see everyone's MyFolders. And this was like a year ago, 2 years ago. So now, working with Drive, we were able to get it so that when they log in, they only see their own MyFolder in SharePoint. So that was a huge win for us and for Sharp, and it saved the client a ton of money. The last one was a financial company that's been with us for a long time as well, and probably a lot of you guys help us support them. They were also a Canon house, same ideas, except we chose faxes for their fax system. We came in with the MyMail, MyFolder. Also, just here recently, they just connected with SharePoint. Back in January, Sharp came out and gave us a free release of the 2013, SharePoint 2013, I think it is, and we were able to get that put into the system and get everybody up and working with SharePoint 2013. So we've been, it's been a long road. A lot of companies, I've been doing this for 32 years, still sell boxes, but we really try to find a way to find solution selling because it increases your profitability and locks your client in for a long time. So that's all I have.
Good afternoon. I'm John Ekstrom with Carolina Business. And Chuck lost 17 of my 52 slides, so bear with me. That's
51 of them we lost, actually.
51 of them. No, Michael will continue. Great job. I enjoyed that. We have not elected to team up with a provider like that. We built our operation ourselves. It's worked quite well for us. If you've been around any of these environments here, people will tell you there's 3 ways to get into it: build, buy, or partner. And here's a question I have: how many people are currently in this space, in the managed network space? And how many people are thinking about it? So you guys that just raised your hand, I'm not going to be talking to you for sure. Those that are thinking about it, a few, okay. So I was in San Antonio a couple months back, and same kind of numbers played out. 60% of you are not in it, and it doesn't look like you're thinking about it. I bought a company a couple years ago that they had the idea, they weren't thinking about it. And you just have to know, you've already taken the first baby step, which is to hook devices onto a network. There's your baby step. And you've probably taken the second baby step, which is to provide time and material work. The third little baby step is going to be when you're billing for that time and material work, and then you migrate up to the block of time concept. And we heard it from Michael that you got with that block of time program, people invest in the downtime. When you get into truly managing, you gave the example of Bob's Computer Shop. The guy's putting his kids through school with your computer being down. When you get into managed network services, your objective is to make sure that they're up and running. So, when somebody's out there and their copier goes down, they walk down the hall. When somebody's out there and their network goes down, their business shuts down. That's just the way it is. So, a lot of good stuff in that presentation, Michael. Thank you very much. I enjoyed it. We got into it a number of years ago. Kind of funny that I've been a big advocate for building, because through that buy program, you don't really know who you're teaming up with until you get into it. It's a bit like a marriage. Same idea with the partnership program. When you build it, you do it yourself. And Laura, you are so right. You got an investment up front. You got to make that investment. It used to be a lot more expensive to try to build it, however. Is that us, Steve? That's probably me.
Somebody's phone.
That's all right, I didn't even hear it.
Someone's network is down.
But it's a lot easier if you want to try to build. It's a lot easier to do it now than it was years ago. But I have for the last 3 months thought, you know what, this idea of partnering with an organization like Continuum or Cloudrance is not a bad idea. Not a bad idea at all. As a matter of fact, there's a few of you in this room that have been in my operation to see how we've done it. There we go. Oddly enough, there's a name that many of you will recognize. Tim Renner used to be Charlotte Copy Data in SBS. Now he's off on his own, Kelly. He had teamed up with somebody, and he just got into this a couple of months after coming to visit me. I touch base with him periodically. This guy's about a third the size that we are as far as managed services goes, but his contracts are bigger, and I'm going to have to think a lot more profitable. So the idea that, again, Michael made reference to that operation maturity level, when you get in with a big organization that has done it and they know those pitfalls, they're going to steer you in the right directions. If you're not thinking about it, time to start.
I am Scott Miller, Miller Document Solutions in Louisville, Kentucky. How many people in the room have a Polaris Pro on their demo floor right now? How many people in the room are selling any Polaris Pro that do not have a demo floor model? Kind of reminds me when I went to my dentist this morning. He had a little guy on the wall that said, "Only floss the ones you want to keep." And it reminded me, if you don't stock the Polaris Pro model on your demo floor, you will not be selling them. End of story. This is a good product to sell. It came out, I guess, 2 years ago-ish, and we didn't stock it until about 14 or 15 months ago. We sold 0 until about 14, 15 months ago, and since then we've got about 20 in the field. It is incredibly profitable at a very low copy rate. Brought some profitability models from my dealership if anybody wanted to see some later on, but I think our Ag Center bid that we won was at 3.5 cents, if I'm not mistaken, 5 cents for 11 by 17. Might have been less than that, and we were 65% profit on that. Although I will forewarn you, UK is where I'm from Kentucky, and UK Blue, we failed to stock enough blue toner. Every case of blue toner in the country when we sold that machine. First thing, I got some questions that were in there, but first thing you got to do is you either pay cash or use your DLL line or fight. I think do they still have a 12-month? No more. Well, fortunately for us, they had a 12-month financing agreement. I'm sure you could set something up to get one on the floor. Then you want to engage your product specialist to come in and train your people. It's essential that you find a champion in your dealership that understands technology, better than the most, and that they'll be willing to spend the time on this product. Don't necessarily have to hire a specialist for a lot of money. We did not. I just promoted a young man who showed interest, and he has taken the ball and rolled with it. Then we had an open house. We invited Doug and Laura and quite a few others. If you order 3 of these things at the same time, they tend to show up at your dealership. Very nice. Unusual. I've been a Sharp dealer for 32 years, or my family has, and never had a VP of operations at our branch until this Blackbird showed up. Thank you all. We had a huge open house. We went through a list of 10 questions. We had each one of our reps go through their accounts and identify key targets. We have sold to CPAs, large insurance firms, small colleges, private schools. Steer clear of production print shops.
Yes.
Please do not sell that product into that. Just say no. If you plan on using it for that, don't get into it. You'll be very unhappy people. Let's see what else. Demo. Yeah, well, every one of them has required a demo. We could not sell this thing without a demo. Maybe a 6240 and a 7040, but not this product. Other than that,
Great.
anybody that uses outsourcing $2,000 to $3,000 a month is a prime candidate. There's probably sources. We're going into a private school next month. It's going to draw 300 machines. That's the one good thing about this box is every time we've sold one, it's drawn more business in, and the people, once they see the demo, once they see the quality, this is a nice example, but it gets a lot better than that. But once they come in and see the quality of this product and the full bleed 11 by 17, they said this is what we want, and you get the bid. Maybe I have to get competitive on it, but you'll get it. Thank you.
Great, thanks.
Now's an opportunity for you guys to pick their brains and throw some questions out. Who's first?
Right over here.
Mr. Milner, do you have those 10 questions?
Do I have those 10 questions? Yeah, I think the guy sitting in front of you actually has those 10 questions.
All right.
He was crucial in our early success and is a great hire for Sharp Electronics. Norman, appreciate it.
Next question.
I have a question for you, John. When you started out with managed network services, did you start with blocks of time, or how did you get rolling?
Well, started with time and material work, and then migrated blocks of time, and then got serious about it and got into truly managed services. We did. The question was, did we set up a help desk? Yes, we did.
John, what are you using in terms of supporting your help desk in terms of software?
The RMM? It started with Enable, and we migrated to LabTech. And the reason for that was it had some additional reporting tools that helped with, we go out, those virtual CIO meetings are very important because when you are in the managed space, you're doing this thing the way that it should be, these patches are getting sent out, you're updating the antivirus, the people are not going to see it, and they're going to wonder why in the world you're there. So you go in quarterly with a stack of reports that shows just what you've done over the last 90 days. And it helps justify your existence, but also in that setting too, it helps you to help lay out a roadmap, a technology roadmap for the company, so they're less likely to have surprises. You can always have a surprise, but you must let you lo- Did you say that? Thank you. To run in a surprise.
I have a question for Steve. Is there anything that you think Sharp could have done to help you as you were adopting the AIP strategy with the solutions piece? Is there anything we could have done or should have done or should have done more?
Actually, I think just from our perspective, because before we picked up Sharp, we were 100% Canon. You were our second line, and I just don't think we jumped into it like we should have. I think once we figured out some of the cool stuff like connecting to my own personal contacts and a global address book, once we saw all these things, then it started clicking. So if we were slow to learn, I think once people see what all it can do, especially with the faxing now, I had my first person call the other day and needed a dual line fax machine. So if anybody knows where I can buy one, I've got a cousin. So they don't want a copier which I can put e-gold fax on with 2 lines, but I mean, it's just, you just gotta get into it and learn it. And that's been the hardest thing for a lot of people and for a lot of dealers is solution selling. That's my opinion.
I would
anyway.
agree. Thank you. And one back here, Mr. Cooper.
Where do you find, John, a good network guy? I mean, could you go to Geek Squad and find somebody that's working there, or?
My director of IT was the homegrown guy. Started off in sales, but then took a real liking to the whole IT aspect of things. So he said, I can do this, I can do that. And he did the self-taught, he's certified every way but Sunday. So he's got that down. So it's a great find. Very fortunate for us that found him close to 20 years ago, and he's just been with me ever since. We've since gone to places like ITT Tech to get some level 1 people, but the director that I have for selling the managed services came from the infrastructure space, and he was somebody through a LinkedIn contact, I believe.
You have a question?
Gloria, point at me.
Yeah.
Okay. Steve, this question's for you. Kind of twofold. With the solution selling that you've adopted and sounds like you've become very successful with, have all of your sales reps adopted the solution selling, or do you have a solution specialist?
All of our sales reps are trained on all the solutions that we sell. We sell Uniflow for Canon, but now we have PaperCut, which works for everybody. So now we're starting to really push PaperCut. I think it's a really good product, and I've also heard about Sharp coming out with their, what is it called? What is your,
Sharp account?
that again?
Sharp account module?
Well, they're coming out with a remote following prints type solution. So, with all of those things, the guys have really adapted to it. They see what they can make as far as gross profit on the deal and being able to control the sale instead of just trying to match somebody for price or solution to solution. They're learning more about the business.
So the second part of that question, the third party, not specifically Sharp, but the third party software partners, i.e. PaperCut, Drive, what have you done to establish good support from them in training your people, Goldfast, and any of the above? I've personally found some challenges in the support on the third party side. So if you
Well, we have sent our specialists to every training class. So we are certified PaperCut, we are certified Drive, we are certified for the other solutions for the other manufacturers
So
as
you
well.
have
So,
somebody internally that you would call a specialist and
Absolutely.
send off the training?
Yeah.
Thank you.
absolutely. I wouldn't sell anything unless we know how to fix it or deal with it ourselves. It's, I think today, a lot of the, we want you to sell our product, but we don't want to support our product. That's not a good.
Scott, I have a question for you on the specialist. Would you be willing to share a little bit about the comp plan for that kind of a person?
Publicly?
But just because I think it's important, it goes deep in the conversation we had a little bit earlier about you're going to go into managed network services, you have to build this kind of virtual CIO, and I think what Scott is saying is if you're going to get into production print with the Polaris Pro, that subject matter expert's really critical. You can't just expect your salespeople to be able to always know the 10 questions and always ask the right things. So you built a subject matter expert. How do you change, how do you make it worthwhile for them to do that role?
Well, actually didn't change his pay plan, but the young man makes a base salary of $42,000 a year. Of course, that's going to be, we're in Kentucky, probably a little higher in some places, out in Houston, a little lower in others. In John's world, they're cheaper over there. And we pay all sorts of different bonuses and pools. But a current customer upgrade is 25% of the gross profit, 35% for net add-ons, 50% for net new on top of that.
Wow.
You got a quarterly override. Now, I will tell you a lot of times on this product, it comes down to 3% of the total dollar. I can go into it. It just depends on what you guys are doing. We chose a specific method when Sharp came out with their new set pricing. So, you know, we take our large discount from Sharp, mark it up what we need to mark it up, and if we sell at cost, we're fine with that. Give the rep a 3% spit, plus their Sharp points. You'd be surprised at what that adds up to. You know, if this product is $100,000 in cost, you mark it up to 115, and then they sell it for 120, and you're out 3,600 bucks. Who lost? So, not to mention that most of them generate 20 to 30,000 color clicks a month. It's a quick way to have lots of color profit coming to your bottom line. Somebody asked about prospecting too. If you don't subscribe to the UCC database from EDA, the Sharp Co-ops, that's one place where we've found quite a few prospects for this. We're looking for the Candy Color machines and quite a few others. We go through monthly with our major account team and our specialist. The young man showed interest in the product, so usually somebody who's technically advanced. This young man in particular, we're getting ready to sign up for either Continuum or ABG Managed Network Services. He's going to be our leader for both of those, the color machine and the Managed Network Services.
Scott, follow up on that. Is this young man also managing territory, or is he completely?
No, he's him and another gentleman are in our major accounts team.
Okay.
That seemed to really go hand in hand with this the Polaris product. We separated our area reps from the major accounts rep and hired this young man in that department.
So do you not allow your area reps to sell the Pro?
No, they can sell the Pro, and they usually engage Mr. Brown, but there's no split for him to be involved.
Okay.
I don't penalize the rep for bringing in a major account team.
So you're paying the major account team as well as the rep?
Yeah, well, if Mr. Brown, he gets involved in the demo, the area manager also has become a champion of the product as well. She sells Polaris and she basically handles all the requests now. But I trained both of them together hand in hand, and they work together to teach each other. Work with Norman and our new area rep. We also are just now getting ready to send them to fire school. We found out that is extremely important.
Good for you, Scott.
As well. I mean, you know, we kept calling Norman every time there's an advanced question. How do we get this thing to do this, and how do we make it that? And I can't match this color. And I've got some great technicians, but they're not fiery trained salespeople. So now we're supporting what we sell instead of just relying on Sharp helps.
Scott, what percentage of the units that you sold had a fire unit in it?
What percentage had a firing?
Mm-hmm.
We've sold quite a few without fire actually. You'd be surprised. It's interesting.
About half?
Nah, you think half? Probably about
40%?
Probably about 35-40% without a fire. The machine runs well, you know, the fire, a lot of people order it, they don't even need it.